Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is going to be a book haul video, and I'm excited because I haven't done one of these in a very long time, and I have a lot of books to show you because I bought a lot in the past couple of months. And well, I didn't buy a lot in the past couple of months. They're all just, I have a lot of books to show you that you know what I mean. I'm just going to get started because I have a lot here. First up is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is her second adult fantasy novel, but her first in a new series that she's doing. I have not read this yet, but I will be reading it pretty soon, so I'm also giving it very high expectations because V.E. Schwab is one of my favorite authors. If you don't know, V.E. Schwab is also Victoria Schwab in the young adult era. If you guys read her Archives series, I love Vicious, which is her other adult fantasy novel, which I loved pretty much, so I'm just randomly talking about V.E. Schwab because she is one of my favorite authors, and look at the cover. I really love this cover so much. It's just, oh. Next up is The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. This is a, of course, epic fantasy novel. This is actually kind of a random buy for me. I was in a bookstore and just kind of looking around, but didn't really find anything interesting. But I didn't really want to leave the bookstore empty-handed, so this is what I randomly bought. Next book I have is A Crown of Cold Silver by Alex Marshall. It's a big book. Kind of a big book. He's published several different novels, but in different genres, so I think this is his first in a fantasy novel. A reason I bought this because I really was intrigued by the synopsis of it, so I'll read the synopsis. 20 years ago, feared General Cobalt Zozia, I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Led her 5 villainous captains and mercenary army into battle, wrestling monsters and toppling an empire. When there were no more titles to win and no more worlds to conquer, she retired and gave up her legend to history. Now the peace she craved for herself has been shattered by the unprovoked slaughter of her village. Seeking bloody vengeance, Zozia heads for battle once more, but to find justice she must confront grudge-bearing enemies, once loyal allies, and an unknown army that marches under a familiar banner. Next up I have The Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, and Maureen Johnson. Of course, this is a compilation kind of a book of different short stories and centers around the character of Magnus Bane, from the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices. Oh, that's a mouthful. I have not read any of the short stories yet. It actually first came out as an ebook, so didn't read those right away. So once I heard that they were coming out with just one book, I said, oh, I'll just buy the book. So really excited for the TV series though too. I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical on that, but I'll probably still watch it too. Let me know if you guys are going to be watching a Shadowhunters TV show. Next up I have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is her debut novel in the young adult area, and young adult dystopian era, I should say. I have actually read this. I read this for the Booksplosion. This was their book of the month. It is really, really quite good. It's been getting a lot of hype, so I don't have to really tell you of what it's about. So, it was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and when I heard that this was actually going to be like a standalone at first, I was like, after reading this, like, no way, this is not a standalone. So, Sabaa Tahir is actually writing a second book, so can't wait to find out more, and I'll buy that once it comes out. Next up I have Court of Thorns and Roses. I have to get the title right because it kept screwing me up. By Sarah J. Maas. I just learned that. It's Maas, not Moss, because I've been saying Moss. So, this is her first in a different fantasy series. You guys know in the Throne of Glass, she writes the Throne of Glass series, which is actually my favorite. And I have not read this yet, but I'm very, very excited to kind of get into it. I have been hearing a lot of mixed things about it, though. So I'm kind of skeptical on that, and I'm very excited to show you guys that I've actually met Sarah down in Madison. I drove 2 hours and 45 minutes to get down to Madison. My first time driving down to Madison, the capital in Wisconsin. And I was very, very scared, but it was worth the trip. So I got it signed. She says, to Jennifer, thanks so much for coming, Sarah J. Maas. So Sarah, if you're watching this, thank you very much, and you made my day. Next book I'm going to show you is actually quite different than the other books I have been showing you. It's actually a mystery novel, and that is Snow White Red-Handed. This is a kind of different sort of mystery, but I'm really excited to kind of dive into this, because look at the cover. It's like, it really looks fairy tale looking, you know. Oh, and the author is Maya Chance, so this is the first in what is called the Fairy Tale Fatal Mystery, and it's set in kind of the Victorian era, 1867, and let's see, Miss Ophelia Flax is a Victorian actress who knows all about making quick changes and even quicker exits, but to solve a fairy tale crime in the haunted Black Forest, she'll need more than a bit of charm. The year is 1867. After quitting her latest Variety Hall engagement, Ophelia acts her way into a lady's maid position for a crass American millionaire. When her new job whisks her off to a foreboding castle straight out of a grim tale, she begins to wonder if her fast-talking ways might have been too hasty. The vast grounds contain the suspected remains of Snow White's cottage, along with a disturbing dwarf skeleton. And when her millionaire boss turns up dead, poisoned by an apple, the fantastic setting turns into a once-upon-a crime scene. Who's the deadliest of them all? I don't know, is Snow White? Next up, I have Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I just recently saw the cover of this, and this is why I bought it, because the cover is just so vintage and very cool looking, and I did not realize that everybody else was kind of getting this, and it's been getting a lot of good reviews too, so I'm really looking forward to reading it much more. I'm kind of going in blind because I don't really know what it's about yet. Next up, I have another mystery series. It's called The 14th Deadliest Sin by James Patterson and Maxime Petro. I think that's how you say it. James Patterson's novel series, The Women's Murder Club, is actually my favorite out of his series. So this is, of course, the 14th novel. It's a very fast-paced read, so I'm very excited to kind of get through this. And it's just a book called To the Women's Murder Club. No one is safe when everyone is a suspect. So what the Women Murders Club series is about, it's based off of, 4 different women who have, like, these different lives. They're all friends, and one of them is a crime detective, and she, just goes to these brutal crime murders scenes, and it just, the way that James Patterson describes them, it's just so brutal, but so good. And that's why I'm always excited for each of these books to come out. So, and, wanting to find out what happens. Next book I have is The Evasion of the Tearle by Erica Johansson. This is the second book in her Queen of the Tearle trilogy series. I don't know exactly, but I'm not really in it for the cover. I love the fonts and stuff, but the cover itself, I don't know. It's quite different than the first book, I think, and I have not read the first book yet. I do love the binding of it. These next 2 books they're different, but they're very classic looking. One is actually a Barnes & Noble kind of collected, but it was on bargain price. So I bought The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Honestly, I have never read this. I have read Huckleberry Finn. I know the story, what it's about. I've seen movies of it, but I'm just kind of really want to dive into a classic one of these days, and this would hopefully be one of them. And the second book is Peter Pan, and look at this edition. Oh, it's by J.M. Barrie, just to let you know if you did not know this. I saw this on a shelf, and I was like, oh, I gotta have this. And I don't own a Peter Pan story, so there are illustrations in it, so let me see if I can find that. Isn't that awesome? And then you got some interactive stuff that goes with it. Let me see, like that. Which is, I thought, really cool. And the last thing I'm going to show you, the last books actually I'm going to show you, is a box set, and which I also saw at Barnes & Noble, and I could not pass it up. It's also a classic series tale, and it is the complete box set of Wizard of Oz. I was so excited when I saw this. It's by L. Frank Baum. Did not know that, but I saw this all wrapped up, and I was like, it's for me. I had to have it, and I knew just by before, taking these books out that the covers of it was just going to be super amazing. So I'll take that out and show you guys. They're very hard to get out though. So there are a total of 15 books. I know some of you are probably thinking, no, there's 14 books, but there's actually a new story edition in this one. So each of the books have 3 different stories in them, all in just one book. So, like for this one, Volume 1, look at this cover. Amazing. It's just wording on the back, so nothing really too special. The binding is just so good. The stories consist of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Marvelous Land of Oz, and Ozma of Oz. So those are the first 3 books in Volume 1. Volume 2, look at that, Emerald City. Makes me want to go there. These stories are Dorothy and the Wizard in Oz, The Road to Oz, and the Emerald City of Oz. The 3rd volume. Oof. A lot of gold there. The books are The Patchwork Girl of Oz, Tick-Tock of Oz, and The Scarecrow of Oz. The 4th volume. We're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay. The books. Let's see if I say this right. Rinc-a-Tink in Oz, The Lost Princess of Oz, and The Tin Woodsman of Oz. The 5th volume. Looks underwater, so the books are The Magic of Oz and Glinda of Oz, and then the extra book is called The Royal Book of Oz by Ruth Plumley Thompson. So, see, the covers are just so amazing, and they're very soft cover too, so can't wait to dive into these books. They're just so excited. And then the last books I'm going to show you are actually graphic novels. Now, I'm not a fan of graphic novels, but some of them, 2 of them are actually quite familiar or kind of based off a book, so of course I had to buy that. And then the rest are actually comic books, not graphic novels, you know what I mean? The thing about it though is that it's very hard of where to start, so these are just kind of random comic book buys. I don't know if I'm going to read them right away. First one is Legend, the graphic novel by Marie Lu, adapted by Lee Dragoon and illustrated by Kahari. I said that right? Sorry if I did. So I was really excited when I first found out that this was going to be made into a graphic novel, because Legend is one of my favorite dystopian novels. I gave all of the books 5 out of 5 because that's how much I loved them. So I was really excited to get my hands on the graphic novel. I wasn't really too likey of the drawings, but it'll have to do. And the other one, of course, Game of Thrones. My series. Shouldn't really hit it. Very good. This is volume 4, based off the first book of the Song of Ice and Fire series, A Game of Thrones. So this is actually the last volume of that series. So I cannot wait to dive into it. I really love these pictures of it. Let me see if I can give you a detailed look. Try to find one with no nudity in it. So on to the comic books. The first one I got is Thor, the Goddess of Thunder. So yes, I did buy the female version of Thor. I should have bought, I guess, Thor, the regular series, but like I said, it's very hard to where to start, so I'm probably going to wait until I get just Thor, buy Thor, because I did not buy it. I pretty much bought all, like, the female villain warriors comic books, so next is Catwoman, from the DC Comics, of course, by Judd Winick and Guillaume March. So this is the first volume of Catwoman. She's actually one of my favorite villains, so how could you not love her? Next up is, I bought this because they are making this into a movie, and of course I wanted to read up on this hero, and that is Captain Marvel, the first volume, by DeConnick, Soy, and Rios, and the volume is In Pursuit of Light. And then I got the other Captain Marvel, first volume, Higher, Further, Faster, and More by DeConnick and Lopez. And then, look at that, Miss Marvel, No Normal. I've been actually seeing this a lot on BookTube, so I thought, this is kind of what it made me get the comic books. So this is by Wilson and Alfona. This is the last names. I don't know if I'm saying them right. Of course, this is different, actually a different kind of character, because not only is she a teenager for this one, but she's maybe Muslim. So I think that's kind of cool what Marvel is doing, kind of getting more of the diversity. Last but not least is a different type, and that is Civil War, a Marvel Comics event. Of course, you guys know, like, the new Captain America movie is being called Civil War. I don't know if it's basically based on this comic book, but I'm sure it's based off, like, the direction where it's going and what the story is really about. So I'm just reading it to kind of just see what the story is about. Those are the books. 27 minutes. Oh my god. The longest video I've ever done. Yes, those are the books that I have to show you. I think that is all, because I have bought a lot and I kind of placed them in different directions, so who knows. Let me know if you guys like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought, what your thoughts on the books, if you've read them or not, or what books you're really excited. So, yep, that is it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Laters!